Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Hiroto, and I would like to thank you for attending this morning's Dharma Family and Pet Memorial Service. We will begin this service with a moment of quiet sitting. Reverend C.J. Dunford will strike the bell, and we will sit for 1 or 2 minutes to quiet our minds and prepare to hear the Dharma. Then they will strike the bell again, and we will continue with the service.
As we sit together today, may we notice the ground beneath our feet. Lifting us up, sustaining us, connecting us to one another. As we sit together today, may we notice the temperature of the air surrounding us, the weight of our clothes on our skin, feelings of ache, pain, discomfort, comfort, joy, all these sensations. Breathing in as the air fills our lungs. Notice this vast, great shared resource. Our lungs expanding, chest expanding, belly expanding. As we breathe in, notice all of these many things. May we greet them as we would an old friend, without judgment, and gently breathing out, let them go. Breathing in, many things arise, and may we greet them without judgment. Breathing out, let them go. Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu.
Okay. Reverend CJ will now offer the dedication, Hyobyakumo, and read the deceased pets' names. After the reading of names, Reverend C.J. Dunford will chant the Juseke, which is on page 93 of the Purple Service Book. During the chanting, we invite all pet memorial families to come up to offer incense.
On this day, we gather to remember our loved ones, our little furry, scaly, and otherwise different friends who teach us compassion. The lives of these sentient beings are no less valuable than our own. For many of us, they have been great teachers, just like the wise and kind Buddha. May we remember them with gratitude, joy, and sorrow on this day as we hold them in our hearts. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 I'll now read their names. Kashishi, Thurston, Suki, Thunderfoot, Benji, Bun Bun, Max, Charlie, Damien, Sabrina the cat, Hank, Hoshi, Oscar, Liki, Sierra, Shadow, Ria, Melody, Ginger, Shiba, Daisuke, Panda, Aya, Sakura, Trevor, Tree, General, Taro, Junie, Chiba, aka Mr. Cheeps. 合唱。ナムアミダ仏。ナムアミダ仏。ナムアミダ仏。ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ仏。ナマンダ仏。Jusege begins on page 93. Jusege comes from the larger Sutra of Immeasurable Life. In that sutra, the Bodhisattva Dharmakara, who becomes the Buddha Amida, declares to that Buddha of that day, Lokeshvara Raja, their intention to become a Buddha. The three sacred vows of the Jusege refer to Dharmakara's pledge to 1. Establish the most incomparable vow or promise in the world. 2. To become a great provider and save the poor and the suffering. And 3. To attain Buddhahood and have the name heard throughout the 10 quarters of the universe. 가곤 초세감 이시무조도 시간 후만속 세이프조쇼각 가오무료고 大世主不祭小便具政府上小学がし上仏道妙小長実法空教未小門政府上小学利欲人少年上へ主本業しぐむ浄土一生天人し人力縁大公不生無才道少女三苦名交際主役難回避知恵言めし根もは閉塞小悪道津田全主門高僧上満足いおうろじぽ日月主樹期天候音不言一種解放像公正空読法上大大集中説法ししく有教一切分具足主徳本元年新上満徳一三概要女仏無下知津田に不詳願学へ理投資最小尊志願や効果大仙を感動国書天人とうちんようけなまんだべなまんだ Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Namanda Butsu. Namanda Namanda Butsu. Namanda.
Okay. Please rise if you are able to follow along with the Gatha, Metta, which is on page 178 of the Purple Service Book. Please remain standing for the reading of the three treasures. I will now recite the three treasures one on page 8 of the Purple Service Book. Please feel free to follow along. Three treasures one. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha, May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken ourselves to the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma, birth into the depths of doctrine, gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. Refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of the Buddha and be free from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord and a life of harmony in the spirit of universal oneness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namami doubts. Namami doubts. Namami doubts. We will now have a children's Dharma talk by Reverend CJ.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for sharing your pets with us. It was so nice to read their names today. They all have really nice names, and I think the last one was the most dramatic one. Per usual, I have a book to share with you. This book is called My Pet Wants a Pet. Okay, so let me pull the screen down so you can see what I read. Okay, our book is called My Pet Wants a Pet by Elise Broach and illustrated by Eric Barclay. Once there was a boy who wanted something to take care of, something of his very own. He begged, and he begged, and he begged his mother. Do you see the puppy? Looks like a happy puppy. Until, what do you know? She said yes. Who begs their mom for things until she says yes? Yeah. The boy loved his puppy. He fed him and played with him and cuddled him in his arms. The puppy loved his boy. He licked him and jumped on him and fell asleep in his lap. They had the best time together, the boy and his pet. Such a good time, in fact, that the puppy decided he, too, wanted a pet. Do any of your pets have pets? Maybe. The boy's mother thought this was a terrible idea. The puppy is your pet, she said. He does not need a pet. But the boy understood that the puppy wanted something to take care of, something of his very own. And so the puppy got a kitten, a furry orange kitten. Truth be told, the boy was surprised at this choice. Dogs chase cats, he told the puppy. And the puppy did chase the kitten, but only as a game. And afterward, he let her eat from his bowl and play with his ball, and they dozed in the sun side by side. In fact, they all got along so well and had so much fun together that it wasn't long before the kitten herself wanted a pet. Can you imagine what kind of pet this kitten wanted? When the boy told his mother this, she looked at him like he was crazy. That kitten is the pet of your pet. She certainly does not need a pet. But the boy and the puppy understood that the kitten wanted something to take care of, something of her very own. And so, the kitten came home one day with a bird, a pretty red bird. Now, once again, this seemed like an odd choice. Cats catch birds, the boy told the kitten. And the kitten did sometimes pounce on the bird, but really, it was all in good fun. Nobody got hurt. The kitten made sure the bird had water and places to fly and perch. And they got along so well and did so many marvelous things together that soon enough, what do you think? The bird wanted a pet. Now this is getting ridiculous, said the boy's mother. That bird is the pet of your pet. She does not need a pet. But the boy knew that she did. She really did. So the bird brought home a worm, a little green worm. The boy started to explain that birds eat worms, but then he decided to leave well enough alone. And the bird took such good care of that worm and was so gentle when she carried him and so quick to protect him that before long, guess what? The worm wanted a pet. What? Cried the boy's mother. That worm is the pet of the pet of the pet of your pet. He does not need a pet. But the boy knew that even a worm might need something to take care of, something of their very own. And so the worm found a flea. It was a tiny brown flea, and it hopped all over the house. Why, the worm had trouble keeping up with it. But he followed the flea and looked after it, and soon they were the best of friends. Such good friends, in fact, that in no time at all, can you imagine what happened next? That's right, the flea wanted a pet. Absolutely not, said the boy's mother. That flea is the pet of the pet of the pet of the pet of your pet. No more pets. But that didn't stop the flea. Because, of course, he wanted something to take care of. Something of his very own. And so the flea decided the puppy would be his pet. Oh, life was wonderful. The boy and the puppy and the kitten and the bird and the worm and the flea were all as happy as could be because they all had pets. But there was someone, a special and important someone, who wasn't happy. She wasn't happy at all. Now, the boy and the puppy and the kitten and the bird and the worm and the flea were a bit worried. None of them wanted to give up their pets. What were they going to do? The boy thought about this for a long time, and then he had an idea. His mother needed something to take care of, something of her very own. Because whenever you take care of something, that something takes care of you. That's the end of our book. I hope you liked this book about pets. I want to see who has the most pets here. Who has 2 pets? Who has 3 pets? Ooh. How many pets do you have? You're the last one standing.
3.
3, okay. Oh, Jay? How many do you?
5 right now.
Oh my goodness. 5. That's about the same amount of pets as this family. They take care of each other. Yeah, I think that's very true. In a sense, we're all pets for each other too. Just like sometimes we think that word is demeaning. It's something that we take care of. But really, how often does our pet take care of us? I have a kitty cat, and she takes care of me all the time. If I come home and I'm sad, she's always really happy to see me. She meows and purrs and hops on my lap and shows me love. And that's just what the Buddha does. I don't know if Buddha meows or purrs or barks. Perhaps they do. But that's part of compassion. And compassion is why we love our pets and our pets love us. And so imagine if we all treated other human beings the way we treated our pets, and other human beings treated us the way they treated their pets, and we all took care of one another. Wouldn't it be a wonderful world? Yes. I'd like to conclude my Dharma message today. Please join me in Gasho as we say the Buddha's name. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you, Reverend CJ, for your wonderful Dharma message for the students. Please rise if you're able to follow along with the Gatha, Loving Kindness, which is on the handout. Okay. Now we'd like to welcome the following new guests. Please stand up or just wave. Kiyomi. Greg and Miyoko. Anna and Maddie. Now we will now read the announcements that have been submitted. Building the Pure Land, Session 2, today at 1 p.m. at the Jodashishi Center. Join us for BBT's Spring Workshop Series presented by Reverend Dr. CJ Dunford. In Session 2, we will talk about a contemporary Pure Land path. If you're interested and have not had the opportunity to register yet, please check out Reverend CJ after the service. 2025 Taitetsu Uno Memorial Lecture, Friday, April 25th at 4 p.m. 5 to 5 p.m. at the Alumni House at UC Berkeley. This year's speaker is Ruth Ozaki. Her talk is entitled "To Study the Self, Zen, Autofiction, and the True Dharma, I." For more info, please see the flyer posted in the social hall or our weekly email. Criminals, a book reading and conversation. Saturday, April 26th at 2 p.m. at JSA. Hosted by Stephen Okazaki with just Judy Nihei and John Masaoka. Discuss Ben Masaoka's novel Criminals. This is his debut novel chronicling a post-war Sansei experience. For more info, please see the flyer posted in the social hall or weekly email. BBT Dharmanar, monthly online study session. Wednesday, April 30th at 6:30 p.m. The topic is birth karma. Sign-up link is on our website. Jodo Shishu Center parking will be available for next Sunday, April 27th. The gate will be open at 9 a.m. and close at 9:30 a.m. sharp. Please arrive during this period to take advantage of the JSC parking for Sunday service. 2025 Satsuki Bazaar. Sunday, May 18th, 11:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Food: barbecue steak dinner, kalua pork plate, udon, ramen, hamburger, manju, sushi, and baked goods. Free entertainment: taiko, music ensembles, Nikkei choral groups. You can pre-order barbecue steak dinners and make a Satsuki Bazaar donation at the temple's website or through our weekly email. Baked goods and silent auction donations over $50 value are greatly accepted. Link to online silent auction will be coming on May 1st. Now the students will be dismissed to their classes. Would Dharma students please go to the front, Oshoko, and go to the classrooms? All others are invited to remain for the adult Dharma talk.
Hello again. I have a brief adult Dharma talk, for everybody who's still here. Please join me in Gassho as I share the words of Venerable Shinran. Tathagata pervades the countless worlds. It fills the hearts and minds of the ocean of all beings. Thus, plants, trees, and land all attain Buddhahood. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 This particular passage comes from our founder, Venerable Shinran's Notes on the Essentials of Faith Alone, where he's describing an important aspect of the nature of Buddha as something beyond our conventional understanding. We often think of Buddha as a human prince who achieved enlightenment under the Bodhi tree in what we now call Nepal, who then taught others what he learned, and then one day died. Or we might think of Amida Buddha, this Buddha right here on the altar, the cosmological Buddha of infinite light and life. However, as Buddhism spread throughout East Asia, creative and brilliant Buddhists came up with many different ways of thinking about Buddha beyond just physical or cosmological manifestations. Many of us these days might only be concerned with the historical Buddha, Shakyamuni, that prince who gave up his royalty and eventually found enlightenment. And there's a sort of secular Buddhism that only focuses on the tradition as logical, philosophical, or maybe from a scientific understanding of the world. But in truth, Buddhism has a rich metaphysical outlook of the world too. And here's what I'd like to talk about today: the doctrine of Buddha's three bodies, or the Trikaya doctrine. This is a theory that developed throughout all the lineages of Buddhism, but is often erased in the West in favor of secularist Buddhism that only teaches mindfulness and calmness. And there's nothing wrong with those teachings, but to say that this is all that Buddhism is would be a travesty. It would ignore a rich tapestry of other teachings that complement mindfulness and meditation in so many ways. So the three-body doctrine, or Trikaya in Sanskrit, teaches that Buddha manifests in three major ways. The first is the fulfilled body of ultimate truth. And this is described sort of as an inconceivable energy, an unseen force of wisdom and compassion that guides us. We think of this Buddha body as light and life, or it's commonly illustrated as an empty circle, the enso, which is on the screen up at the top. Or sometimes it's characterized by the Chinese character ku, which refers to emptiness or enlightenment itself. The second form of the Buddha body is the enjoyment body, and this is usually a cosmological Buddha in their Buddha field, like Amida Buddha in their Pure Land of Sukhavati. Usually when we see statues or mandalas of Amida in the Pure Land, this is a manifestation of Buddha as the enjoyment body. There are lots of other Buddhas in Buddha fields as well. But number 2 there is a mandala from the Thai. It's a cropped version of the Thai mandala that shows Amida Buddha flanked by Seishi and Kannon Bodhisattvas. And then the last one is the transformed body, number 3, where Buddha takes the form of a physical and sentient being. The cosmological, the beyond our comprehension, the thusness of the universe. That Buddha takes on the form of something or someone who comes to teach us something. An example of that would be Shakyamuni Buddha. So this is a little bit tangential, but George Lucas spent some time learning from Japanese Buddhists, and he came up with the idea of the Force in Star Wars. In some ways, that idea is related to the first of these Buddha bodies. something that's beyond our conception. You might make this connection here in a scene from Obi-Wan in episode 4, A New Hope, in the first film, where he talks to Luke Skywalker. When Luke asks Obi-Wan about the Force, Obi-Wan says, "The Force is what gives a Jedi his power. It's an energy field created by all living beings. It surrounds us and penetrates us, and it binds the galaxy together." In a way, we can imagine the fulfilled or essence body of the Buddha, the first one, in this way. But for us as Jodo Shinshu Buddhists, it would be something that isn't generated by us necessarily, but moves through our lives as light and life from the Buddha, as wisdom and compassion from the Buddha. There are books about that. I didn't specialize in Star Wars and Buddhism, but you can read about it from other people. That's just a fun little idea. And so this essence body of Buddha is what Venerable Shinran is referring to in the passage that we read for the Gosandai. And he was also referring to the transformed Buddha body as well. When he says, "Tathagata pervades the countless worlds, it fills the hearts and minds of the ocean of all beings. Thus, plants, trees, and land all attain Buddhahood." So Tathagata is another word for Buddha, and it pervades the countless worlds, filling the hearts and minds of all beings. And this is the essence body, or the fulfilled body of the Buddha, the light of wisdom and compassion that permeates the universe. It's in the chair underneath your bottom. It's in the walls around us. It's in our pets, our friends, our animals, the water, the air we breathe. It's everywhere. And when we find ourselves in a state of spiritual maturity, then we might be able to see Buddha manifesting itself in any of these ways in our lives. And today, for Pet Memorial Service, I encourage us to think of how our little animal friends are that way. Cute little guys who become Buddhas just for us, to teach us compassion, kindness, and care. I know most of us have lots of stories to tell about our animal friends, and today I wanted to talk about Sheba, who was a mixed collie that I grew up with and was my sister. You can see Sheba on the left side of the screen, and on the right side, you can see Bean, who is my current housemate. As for Sheba, my family adopted her as a tiny puppy when I was only 2 years old, so we literally grew up together. I remember always playing with her, and while most of the time we're usually sweet to one another, sometimes I wasn't so nice to her. I remember that after I learned how to ride my bike, me and my sister would ride our bikes around our yard and up and down the country road, and Sheba always followed us. She wanted to hang out too, or maybe she was using her collie instincts to herd us. I'm not sure. But I was annoyed with her because I was afraid of hitting her with my bike. So that made me a little bit mad. Even though it came from a place of caring for her, I was still mad that she followed me around all the time. I wanted to see how fast I could go on my bike, but I didn't want to run over her. So sometimes I would yell at her to stay out of the way and let me ride my bike. She didn't usually listen, which only made me more angry with her sometimes. But eventually, as I grew older, I figured out that she was just trying to play too. And so we did other activities together. Later, when I was about 10, we moved to a house out of the trailer park. This house had a small creek behind it, and it's the house where I spent most of the memories that I can remember. And even though my mom was convinced that I'd get bitten by a snake, I'd still go play by the creek in the hot Virginia summer. And sometimes Sheba would come along and play in the creek with us. I remember one time she had a crawfish stuck in her fur. I was worried that it would pinch her, but I never liked touching bugs or slimy things, and so I didn't dare take it out with my hands, so I managed to get it out of her fur with a stick, very slowly and very gently. I'm not sure why I remember that memory so clearly, but Sheba taught me to be kind and try to understand what she was doing, even though we couldn't talk to each other using words. And so she took care of me in times when I didn't understand. anything about her. And I think the Buddha was teaching me through Shiva to try to be more kind and compassionate and understanding, even though I don't understand somebody or something. Moving on to Bean, who's my little cuddle baby. She's very snuggly and affectionate. She always loves cuddles, and sometimes she's a little clumsy. She also follows me everywhere I go in my apartment. When I go to the bathroom, she stares at me, which is awkward. When I cook dinner, she gets curious about what I'm doing and trips me up because she wants to smell my food. When I sit down to have a Zoom meeting, she hops on my lap and falls asleep. If you're on the Berkeley Buddhist Temple board, you've probably seen her on camera, or at least her tail, as she roams around my couch during our board meetings. When I watch TV, she curls up on my belly and falls asleep. I have a picture on the next slide. I'll show you that one. Well, maybe I'll just do it now. There she is. What a sweetie. I don't let her in my bedroom, though, because I have a little bit of allergies, and that makes her grumpy. And so when I come out in the morning, she's really happy to see me. She purrs and meows and hops up on me. Sometimes her neediness feels a little bit too much. For example, when I'm cooking and she wants snuggles or wants to sniff my food, I've tripped over her a few times. I've stepped on her paw or tail a couple of times. And she let out a loud yap, which scared me, made me worried that I hurt her, so I'll chase her down and make sure she's okay. And whenever this happens, or she chews up my Dharma talks, yes, she eats my homework, I get frustrated with her. But every day I also try to remember what Shiva taught me and how it's more important for me to understand her showing love to me than thinking that she's just trying to get on my nerves. And so I've been trying to be more careful to see the world from her perspective. In the morning, I do a bit of meditation and yoga. And if I was really serious, I'd get grumpy or ignore her when she tries to snuggle when I'm concentrating, but she's taught me not to take things so seriously. And so when she hops on my lap, I take a break from concentrating to give her kitty kisses. Bean teaches me that I can't change her behavior, but I can change how I respond to her when she wants love and attention. Bean is my little kitty Buddha, helping me to be patient and gentle even when I get grumpy. And I think that I wouldn't understand Bean so well if I didn't grow up with Shiva. I'm sure that we can all think of stories like these of our little animal friends. And this is a memorial service, and I'm happy that so many of us have little furry or scaly Buddhas who can teach us to be kind and gentle to one another. I hope that we can all feel grateful, even though we can't be with them anymore. We can still cherish the precious time and the lessons and the memories that we've shared with these little Buddhas today on this special day. Please join me in Gasho as I share the words of Master Shinran once more. Tathagata, that is Buddha or limitless wisdom and compassion, pervades the countless worlds. It fills the hearts and minds of the ocean of all beings. Thus plants, trees, and land, and kitties, and doggies, and snakes, and lizards, and all our little pet friends, all attain Buddhahood. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Okay. That's it for my Dharma talk. I know Ms. Kashiwagi would like to make an announcement, and then I have some thank yous to share.
that is our dog Vicky, or was our dog Vicky. Now, it's really hard to talk about Vicky because she was a rescue dog. And our son went to the SPCA and decided to rescue her, although she had all kinds of medical issues. And so he brought her home, and she was fine, and I never heard her. Maybe on one hand, I could count the times she actually barked at something or someone. She was kind and gentle, and she was just so easy to love. She was about 21 pounds of patience. And she was a French bulldog. And then so he brought her home, and she was fine. And then we were sitting other animals, and so we were at this house, and she was acting really, weird. So he took her to the vet. And the vet said, well, and gave him all kinds of medicines and all kinds of recommendations. So he brought her home, and that was Christmas Eve, and he spent 5 hours at the vet. And so he came home, and Christmas Day, not very good. So the day after Christmas, he took her to the vet, and the vet said, oh, she's really suffering. So he had to put her down. So we had her only for a month. But let me tell you, she had a real impact on our lives. And so this is Vicky. Yeah. She taught us patience. And then there's another story. It's a real good story, and it's a perfect example of Okage-sama death. I've known this man, my son's friend, for almost 30 years, and he's known him for 50 years. And he is a fireman for the San Francisco Fire Department. And one time, there was a fire in our neighborhood. In fact, it was right next door. And he knew that, so he called us up to make sure we were okay. And the next day, he and his brother came to double check on us again. And then he had to retire because he had medical issues. Fast forward for 2025. He wound up in the hospital and had to wait for a transplant, not only for a heart, but also for a kidney. So he went through all kinds of tests and everything, and so he finally got a transplant. And that was less than about three weeks ago. Lo and behold, he came through it fine. He'll never know who donated that, the kidney and the heart. But because of, again, Okage-sama, this man is alive. And so they took him off of all this, life supports and everything, and he was doing fine. And then he was supposed to go home, and he had a slight setback, liquid in his lungs. Well, they cleared that up, and he went home. So he's home. And he has to go see the doctor often, but he's alive because of someone's loving kindness. And so I think that's a real good story, and we need a real good story at this point. Yeah, we do. So that's my story.
Thank you, Ms. Kashiwagi. We're so lucky to have so many wonderful people in our temple with incredible stories like that one, or those. So thank you, Sadako-san. I'd also like to thank Hiroto-kun for being our chairperson today. Let's clap loud so we can hear. Thank you to our live streaming team for their help with live streaming our service today. Thank you to Amiko-san for the beautiful music for the Gatha. And thank you to our April Toban for preparing refreshments in the social hall. This concludes today's service. Thank you for everyone who joined us both in person and virtually.